Today, I'm going to show you the four biggest parenting mistakes that can negatively impact your teen and how to avoid them so you can guide them toward a confident and successful future. Now, here's something that I've come to firmly believe after raising four kids of my own and spending almost 2 decades working with students and adults. The late teens and early 20s are really the cheapest time in a person's entire life to take a real risk and fail. There's no spouse depending on them, there's no mortgage. There's no kids of their own, hopefully. And if it doesn't work out, they crash and they burn. But then they dust themselves off and they're able to try again. And the truth is, that window does not stay open forever. So the four mistakes that I'm about to walk through all do the same exact thing. They quietly close that window before your teen ever gets the chance to use it. So without further ado, let's start. Mistake one, bankrolling inactivity. Now, I'm talking about the parents who financially support a kid in their late teens or their early 20s with no requirements attached. There's no requirement for school. There's no requirement that they're learning a skill. There's no requirement that they're working towards something. I mean, anything. Just a soft landing indefinitely. And I get that instinct. You don't want your kid to struggle. But support without strings attached does not build a launch pad. It builds a hammock. And a hammock is a comfortable place to stay stuck for a very long time. Now, I've told my own kids some version of this, right? I'm glad to help you, but I'm not glad to fund you doing nothing. And there's a real difference between those two sentences. And your teen needs to hear which one that you actually mean. Okay, mistake number two is babying your teen. This is stepping in every single time to prevent a natural consequence from landing. Your teen forgets their lunch, you drive it to school. Your teen misses a deadline, you email the professor. Your 22-year-old overspends, you cover the difference quietly. Again. Researchers who study teen development have found the same thing I've seen play out for years in my office. When you shield a teen from small consequences now, they never build the muscle to absorb bigger consequences later when the stakes are actually really high. You're not protecting them, you're postponing the lesson to a much more expensive moment. I remember one of my daughters missing a deadline for a writing assignment in her senior English class. Rather than come talk to me about it or talk to her teacher about it, she panicked. And then she used AI to quickly write and submit something. And this was a time when it was completely against the rules to use AI at any form at any kind in her classroom. Her teacher knew immediately that she had used AI. She gave her a zero and then she reported it to the principal. And here's where it got kind of complicated. I was the high school counselor at that school. Now, my daughter knew that I could probably soften the consequence with the principal and maybe even call in a favor with her teacher for an extension instead. And really, every part of me could have made that call, but I didn't. And to her credit, my daughter barely even asked me. She was embarrassed, and she was genuinely sad that she had let her teacher down and let herself down. She took the zero, she took the detention, and she promised herself she would never put herself in that position again. Now, that happened during the first semester of her senior year in high school. She's now in her third year of college, and she still points back to that moment as one of the biggest lessons she's ever learned. A lesson that would have quietly disappeared the second that I stepped in to save the day. Now, I mean, really, if I'm being honest, my first instinct was to make her mistake all about my parenting, not even about her. So, in a strange way, we both learned something that day. The next mistake, mistake number three, is no motivation or expectations. Support without any accountability attached to it breeds drift. Now, not rebellion, not even really laziness exactly, just drift. Days turning into weeks, turning into a wasted year, with nobody ever asking the question out loud. Now, here's a standard I encourage every parent I work with to set out loud very early. Support is tied to forward motion. That's it. It doesn't have to be a specific major they're picking or setting out some 5 year plan. It just has to be movement. And that movement can be school, it can be a trade, a job, a business idea that they're actually building. Motion in some direction. The moment support gets disconnected from any kind of expectation of motion, You've removed the one thing that was ever going to move them in the first place. Mistake number 4, and this is the one most of us parents make without ever realizing that we're making it: forcing your teen to play it safe. Now, this mistake doesn't even look like a mistake. It looks like love. It sounds like, I just want better for you than I had. And it sounds like, I know how hard that path is. Let me just steer you towards something more stable. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. But underneath it, it's control wearing the costume of love. Here's the truth I keep coming back to as a father of 4. I would rather my kid chase their dream and fail than play it safe at my direction and quietly resent me for the next 80 years. Because that resentment is real, and it's patient, and it doesn't care how good my intentions as a parent were. Your teen does not need you to hand them a safer version of their life. They need you to stand next to them while they attempt the version that is actually theirs. So there we have all 4: bankrolling inactivity, babying your teen out of natural consequences, offering no motivation or expectations, and forcing them to play it safe. That's the one that's dressed up as love that so few parents ever catch themselves doing. Every one of these mistakes comes from the same well intentioned place: wanting to protect your teen from pain. But protection and preparation just are not the same thing. And only one of them actually serves your teen once they walk out your front door for good. So, what I'd like you to do is pick one of these 4 this week and be honest with yourself about it. I've built a free worksheet with reflection questions for all 4 mistakes to help you have this conversation with yourself first and then eventually with your team. I'll go ahead and drop the link below. And if you've not already, go ahead and get on the waiting list for Simply College. Simply College is your virtual coach for helping guide your teen after high school. The new version launches on September 1st, and we're going to be opening it up to individual families for the first time after many years of helping companies support their employees. Subscribe to this channel and you'll get early access along with a discount on enrollment at launch. Both of the links I'll go ahead and set up below. Now remember, the teens who thrive after high school are not the ones whose parents protected them from every hard thing. They're the ones whose parents had the courage to let them try and occasionally fail while the cost of failing was still cheap. Subscribe for more and let me know in the comments which one of these 4 mistakes did you catch yourself making. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.